Hello from the south side of the Brumalot today, and good afternoon. Came down here a little later today. Decided to come on this side because it was later, and the other side usually gets pretty crowded. And it's hailing currently, which is why I'm behind this bush, this big bush tree thing. And so hello, and I'm wearing my hat. People walking by don't know this is a video camera. And look at me like she's talking to herself. Maybe they saw me dancing, so and they weren't impressed. Anyway, came down today very particularly with something very fresh in my mind. In the news today, it was reported that Gaddafi is using rape as a weapon of war, and he's giving his troops Viagra apparently, and the whole mix of wrongness about that is pretty vile and disturbing and horrible, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing these stories. And the thing is, everyone's like, Libya, because obviously the media is trying to draw up support in this war, but it's a horrible thing. But the thing is, unfortunately, that is not unusual. Maybe the Viagra thing, that's a bit bizarre, but he is a bit cuckoo. But certainly the using rape as a weapon, and I'm like, and slut walks are in a couple of weeks, and something which maybe I'm not put into these words before, but I think is really important for me, and part of what it is that I do is that I come down here to feel good in my body, and I'm very aware of the fact that I'm very aware of the fact that that's a part of what I do. It's also presenting a representation of that, and it's not because I bought something. I did buy a hat. It's totally unrelated, but it's not because, it's like, think about all the representations we see of women that are mass produced, and it's either displayed on print advertising wherein sexuality is used as a tool to sell things, as a commodity, or telling us conversely that that's something that we need to hide away. And something I said in my blog about a month ago, when the whole slut walks thing first came up, was the fact that, in terms of what is considered to be quote unquote improper, has changed radically over time, and is radically different depending on where you are in the world. So quite obviously, intellectually, it's not about the piece of fabric, which is actually, what it is that we're looking about, how much fabric or not throughout time. But it is about that idea that a woman's body is something, or a female body is an object to be, is in some way demonized, is some way bad, and because the thing is, where are those mass representations of women being positive in their bodies physically? And it's interesting because that's a big part of why I started really getting into this dance practice, is the fact I come down here and I aim to feel good physically every day, and I hope for the rest of my life I can feel that. And I wonder, in the context of our world and in our Western world, as we focus our attentions on superficial things that are just that, and I wonder how, at the core of who we are, we aim to really accept wherever it is that we are on a physical level, and not just women, because women, it's been a very fraught path for the past 2,000 plus years, and you could see representations of that in literature and in archaeology. You could see other representations pre that time, if you go back prior to 2,000 years ago, wherein the female figure was revered and honored, and if there's something that you honor, you would not dare to defile it. And I thought to myself, the other day, I was like, that whole thing about covering a woman, or just because a tree is there, would it mean that you have to chop it down? If a beautiful tree grows, you know, you learn, it's learned behaviors. And thankfully, there are enough representations of very wonderful and honorable men in the world to show us that indeed it is possible, and therefore that the individuals who are committing these acts are severely misguided. And I think that's worth considering as well. So the more that, certainly that I can do to present a different story, and maybe that's something for us all to look at, a different story of what it means to be a woman at every stage in your life, and to be completely embodied and completely celebrate wherever you are, whatever is going on, and for that to be accepted as part of culture, and for these other things to be seen as deviant. I think that's where I'd like to see things going. So today I was dancing for that, and I was sending a lot of positive body energy and healing to the women who very sadly, and girls who very sadly have been the victims of these crimes, and not just in Libya, but the world over. It are shocking statistics. So I'll continue dancing to present these stories, and I invite women and men to join me, or to take up that activity in your own way, to celebrate yourself in who you are as a physical being at every stage of your life. Because although the spiritual body is great, we are born into a physical form, and it's not a simple separation of the one from the other. So anyway, that's my story for today. Before the next weather pattern comes up, and indeed it will, I'm going to head out, so I shall see you back here. I don't know if I'll be on this side or that side. I need to decide tomorrow. Okay, thanks, bye.